Chipotle hot sauce is one of those great hot sauces that has heat to it, but also has a lot of flavor. The Chipotle pepper is just a jalapeno pepper that's been brought into the point where it's ripe, and then it's smoked and dehydrated and then turned into a powder. And so it has that great smoky flavor to it that I love so much. My first step for this recipe was to quarter 6 pounds of tomatoes. Now I want to soften my tomatoes, but it's kind of interesting because when you soften these ones, you do it with the Chipotle pepper powder. So I'll add 3/4 a cup of Chipotle pepper powder to this. This is what gives it the heat. So if you don't like it quite so hot, then you won't want to add as much. And then I also add 2 cups of white vinegar. Then I'll place this on the stove and get it to a simmer for 20 minutes. Now that my tomatoes are nice and soft, I'll run it through my food processor. You could also do this in a blender. I've done it both ways. I just always make sure that it's nice and smooth. And then I put it in another pot. It'll take a couple of batches. And then I add 1 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of pickling spice. You can put the pickling spice in cheesecloth or a spice bag, but I just like to use these tea diffusers. I'll then place this back on the stove and simmer it until it's nice and thick. I'm gonna add 2 more cups of vinegar. And then you'll notice that thins it out again quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is put it back on the stove and then get it just to my desired thickness. Everybody, that's gonna be just a little bit different. Now my hot sauce is nice and thick and I'm ready to put it in my 1/2 pint jars. But first, I have to remove that pickling spice. I'll put it in my jars, leaving 1/2 inch of headspace. Headspace is the space from the top of the food to the top of the jar. I then use a clean, damp cloth to wipe off the rim of my jars. I then place my lids on and screw on the rings to fingertip tight. I'll then place my jars in my boiling water bath and process it for 15 minutes if I'm at sea level. I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'll do it for 20. Now that the water's boiling, I'll set the timer. Now that the timer's gone off, I'll remove the lid, turn off the heat, and let it cool down for 5 minutes. I'll then remove the jars from the canner and place them on a heat-resistant surface. I try to place them about 1 to 2 inches apart, just so that they have some room to cool down around the edges. Then I'll let them sit for 24 hours to let them get a good seal. After that point, I'll remove the ring, use hot soapy water to wash them off, and then store them in a cool, dry, dark location and use them in the next 1 to 3 years. So this is the taste testing part, and usually I'm really excited about it, but I'm a little nervous right now because I know that this stuff is hot. So the first taste you get is very sweet, and then you get a hint of the tang of the vinegar, and then you taste the smokiness. And then about the time it hits your throat and the back of your tongue, that's when the heat hits you. It's really good because it has so much flavor to it, but this is definitely one that I use in moderation, but some people like more heat than I do. So go ahead and give it a shot.